guys, today I'm back with another Oily Skin Diaries foundation review, and yes, we just did one of these on Sunday for the new ColourPop foundation, which I will link to down below, but I got this guy in my hands. It's brand new from NYX. It is their Can't Stop, Won't Stop Full Coverage Foundation, so I wanted to get this review up as soon as possible because I know it's already super hyped up. As always, I will be doing, showing you application, talking about my experience with the foundation so far on my oily skin. In addition to that, I will be showing you how it performs in flash photos and of course how it wears throughout the day, including some footage in natural light so you can see how it looks a little bit more naturally. As always, there will be timestamps down below if you're looking to skip ahead to any particular part, and then I'll also have the shade that I'm wearing swatch next to some kind of more popular shades if you're trying to figure out your shade. In addition to that, always lots to say in the beginning of Oily Skin Diaries. I will have links down below to reviews of more popular foundations if you're trying to figure out what my shade is in other foundations, and some more Oily Skin Diaries videos, but let's get into it. I don't have a ton of information on this because it is so new, but I did find it on the London Drugs website, and they're saying that it's comfortable, creamy, and pigmented, a lightweight liquid that delivers ultra matte coverage and lasts up to 24 hours, suitable for normal oily combination and combination 2 oily skin types. If you've seen anything about this online, there are 45 shades in the line, which is incredible. When I saw the line in store, she didn't have all the shades there for me, so I couldn't get a total representation, but from the pictures that I've seen online, it looks to go very light to very deep. This launch is also a collaboration with Alyssa Ashley, who is a YouTuber. If you're not familiar with her, she's fabulous, super fun, has a great series called, is it Makeup Monday or Mystery Makeup Mondays? Anyways, it is a super fun series and she's great, stunning, flawless. She collaborated with NYX to help them expand the range, and whenever you have a YouTuber collaborating with a brand, that's my cat, not a child. Hi, baby. She's Siamese, so she's quite loud. She's not in distress, don't panic. But whenever you have a YouTuber collaborating with a brand, you're always gonna get pushback from the public. I think it's great. I mean, she's not the one necessarily in the lab mixing up the shades. Sometimes you see people and they're like, why is she doing it? Or why blah, blah, blah. Like, she's not the only one doing it. Like, she's the face of this collaboration, and she has a huge platform to be able to get this out. And she said they focused a lot on the in-between shades, which I think is so important because a lot of the times brands will release a bunch of shades, but then you're kind of leaving out those in-between ones, which I think are very, very important. As someone who's almost always been an in-between shade, especially in drugstores, like there's always like a deep, like a tan and then a deep, and I'm mixing them together because I'm like, I'm not tan and I'm not deep, help me out here. So they seem to be really good, have tons and tons of different undertones and kind of hitting those in-between shades, but as the reviews come out, we'll see how it works for everybody. So today I'm going to be wearing the shade Beige, which is actually number 11, and it's not the 11th shade in the range because some of them are like 10.5. I think there's like Alyssa Ashley wears like a 15.9, so I'm not the 11th shade in the range, but I will say I'm not that far into the range, which I think is awesome because I'm also not that deep. I'm an NC42 at MAC, but at the same time, like, I feel like people think I'm a lot deeper than what I am, especially like when I'm getting matched in stores. So really excited to see that the range seems to be quite an actual range as opposed to just a bunch of shades randomly thrown in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this to my face and you can see it in action. So I primed my skin with the NYX Angel Veil. I've tried this out with a few different primers now, so I'm gonna give that one a try, and then I've been loving doing a primer and like a spray to get things kind of moving on my skin. So this is the new Bobbi Brown Primer Plus Hydrating 3-in-1. It's a setting spray, a prep item, and then also to refresh makeup. So I'm gonna spray myself with this. So I'm gonna start with just one pump. And it does give you just quite a little bit of product, which I prefer. And I have some breakouts, so that's a great way to test the full coverage. Delightful. And I'm using a beauty blender. Honestly, I'm a little bit... I built my channel on having oily skin and like certain ways that I like things, you know, like I like brushes over beauty blenders. I like primers. I like to not use a primer, blah, 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 but something is changing. I don't know if it's my skin or my preferences. You know how over time, like for a while I only wore winged liner, then I stopped wearing winged liner. I only wore like really bright highlights. Now I'm getting into more kind of natural highlights. But it honestly scares me that you guys might abandon me because I'm using like a beauty blender instead of a brush all the time, or because I'm using primers, or What I'm gonna do today may shock you. It's something that I've said I can never do, and I did it yesterday, and I'm gonna do it again today because it's my preferred method. And I'm not gonna set this foundation. Gasps from the audience. I don't know what it is, but something about these super matte foundations that are coming out lately, I find they look too cakey on my skin. And I don't know if it's because I've been wearing so much more natural finish foundations, but I wore this yesterday with no powder and it was okay. Things went well and it looked better than the day that I wore it with powder. So of course, I mean, it's gonna depend person to person, but I was really surprised. So please don't leave me, okay? I'm still me. But I was like, should I still powder my face in my review? Because I don't want people to like click away and be like, who is this girl? Anyways, okay, so there you can see, I think it's a pretty good color match. No foundation. Foundation does a good job covering that up. And that's not to say that you necessarily need a hydrating spray and you need a primer, but that's been my preferred method over the couple times that I've tried it now. So that was just one pump, which is quite small on that half of my face, and that's where I'm gonna leave it. I've said it before, but I don't like to build up foundations too much because I find that that's what makes me oily. I also should have mentioned you're getting a full fluid ounce in there, and retail price is gonna depend where you live and what drugstore you pick it up at, but the nice thing about drugstore makeup is there's always deals and stuff. And the other thing I wanna say is I was vlogging while I was at the NYX store. You'll see it in an upcoming weekly vlog, but I just get like kind of overwhelmed with excitement and like gratitude when I get the opportunity to try something. Like the fact that I got to go into the NYX store and see a bunch of new launches. Like, I was excited to do it anyways before I even got my hands on this brand new foundation that like almost nobody has seen or touched, and just get the opportunity to be one of the first blows my mind, and I don't understand it, and it makes me honestly want to cry. And like, I know it's just makeup, but you know, I started this channel in university for fun because I love to just talk and I love makeup, and it's just become something so special to me. And I just had some really cool opportunities that I'm just like standing there being like, wow, like I'm one of the first to get to do this. And I'm so excited then to like race home and put my blog post up and talk to you guys about it, because I know you guys are going to be excited to see like a new foundation, especially when it's, you know, it's NYX, it's drugstore, they're cruelty free, it's got a huge shade range, and I'm just like, this is so cool, because I've been using NYX since the beginning of my makeup, since it went to Newfoundland when I was living there. And just the fact that like I have any contact with the brand and they think that I'm at all valuable enough. This is not sponsored, by the way, and they did not require me to do this review either. But the manager was like, I've got the new foundation, do you want to see it? And I was like, hell yeah. And then I obviously wanted to get it up as soon as possible, because then you'll be able to at least figure out your shade match and figure out if you might want to buy it when it drops. I'm just gonna build it up slightly on my cheeks because I do have all those breakouts. Ugh. But anyways, basically what I'm saying is I'm just super grateful because, you know, I don't have a gigantic platform and I'm not like some, you know, super advanced makeup artist. I'm literally just someone who loves makeup and likes to talk, and I've been able to, you know, build something out of it that I'm incredibly proud of. But when you have brands that you look up to recognize that, it's just very, very special. So that's all I'm getting at, just getting really mushy. But yeah, okay, so it blends out super easily. I have used this with a brush and I do like it with a brush as well, but I think Beauty Blender is what I'm into right now. Which, I mean, people have been asking me to use beauty blenders and primers for a very long time, so maybe you're happy that I've made this switch. So as you can see, I think it gives really, really beautiful coverage. It doesn't look flat on my skin, and it does a good job covering up these breakouts I have. These are like some pretty big breakouts. So I've built it up a little bit more on my cheeks, but left it a little bit lighter in the center of my face. First of all, in an attempt to just have an overall lighter coverage, but I just like the look of that because I don't think I necessarily need full coverage all over my face. I like to let the rest of my skin have a little bit of breathing room, and then just kind of build it up here on my cheeks where I feel like I need that coverage. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on the rest of my makeup. I've got some other new NYX things to test out, and I will also come back and show you how it looks in flash photos. Back with a full face of makeup, and I'm wearing some other new NYX products. I will have some Instagram tutorials linked down below. One will be live right now, and then some more coming up over the coming week. But I'm wearing the Worth the Hype mascara. This is not new, but this is the waterproof formula, which is coming out. So wearing this, really been liking this. Then I also have this on my eyes. It is one of their Foil Play Cream Eyeshadows in Steelio Man. And then I'm not wearing this right now, but I was wearing this in my little Instagram tutorial because I wanted to show it. It's one of their new Slip Tease lip lacquers, so it's kind of like a melted lipstick, kind of liquefied lip lacquer. So right now I'm actually wearing one of their soft matte lip creams. But anyways, I'm here. I don't have any powder on my face and I've made it out alive. I set my under eyes, but I did not set the rest of my face. As you can see, things blended nicely, and I would never blend things like it still blows my mind, but I have said time and time again that I can't even imagine a world where I don't set my face. And there's been a few times that I've done it by accident. For example, the first time I tried the Estee Lauder Double Wear, because it was so matte I didn't realize that I hadn't set it. I believe I also did it maybe with the Cover FX Power Play, and it's something I'm kind of playing around with because I can still powder as the day goes on if I need to, but right now I feel like I don't need to, and it was kind of this habit that I got into, and I feel like my face was looking cakier than it needed to. So as you can see, I've blended on top of it. I do move a little bit slower, a little bit more cautiously, because it is something that is new to me, but I think that things look really good, and I think it looks plenty matte and does not need any more powder, with the exception of me setting my concealer under my eyes. So I think it looks really good in photos. I took a photo here in my studio lighting. It looks good. It looks quite natural on the skin. It doesn't look too flat, but it is quite matte. There is really not much sheen to my skin. And then when I took a photo with flash, I think there is a little bit of a flashback, but the foundation is a little bit on the lighter side. It's not that it's too light for me. I think the shade match looks really good now that I've bronzed, but in comparison to my chest, it is a little bit lighter, so I don't think it's complete flashback, and I'm also not wearing any bronzer or concealer or anything, so I think that I performed okay, and it didn't claim to be flashback free from what I can tell anyway. So far things are looking really good. Feels really lightweight on my skin. It also doesn't really have much of a scent. If I didn't mention that, I didn't notice anything in particular, so I'm gonna go on about my day and I will check back with you in some natural lighting. Coming to you in some natural light. It's been about 4.5 hours or so that I've had it on. I just got it in the door, so I wanted to show you my face because it is so hot outside, so I'm definitely sweaty because I thought you may want to see my sweat. How delightful. But you can see, with the exception of some marks on my nose here from my sunglasses, because I was sweating and wearing sunglasses, things actually look quite good. I get crazy upper lip sweat, but I'm gonna blot here with just a paper towel because that's what's available and that's what I normally use. But otherwise things look good. It still feels like matte on my face. It doesn't feel like it's sliding around or anything. Things feel and look really quite good. I might have to blot a little bit more in there, but otherwise things are looking great. Hasn't oxidized, hasn't moved around, so very pleased. But I will check back with you in a few hours at the end of the night to show you how it looks. So it's now the end of the day and I think things held up really great. I've been wearing this for about 8 or 9 hours now. Yesterday I wore it for a little bit longer than that, and I accidentally took a nap. And I know you're not supposed to sleep in your makeup, but I fell asleep on the couch and I think it held up really well yesterday too. And then I did wear it, so this is about, I think, my 4th time wearing it now. So really impressed with this foundation. I think it has great wear time. If you have oily skin, I definitely think it's something to consider. If you have a more dry skin type, I don't think you're gonna love this because it does kind of like lock onto your face, not in a bad way, but just as I mentioned, I didn't even need to set it, so I feel like it does hold up quite well. And even just touching my face like this, I think it feels really good, and the fact that I felt like I didn't need to set it speaks volumes. With this kind of foundation, my preferences are starting to change a little bit. I feel like when I have texture and when I have acne, I tend to lean towards something that has a more natural finish, so it's not as matte, and I'm okay to blot throughout the day. That being said, I do like the way that this wears, whether I'm wearing a primer or not, but I do like the help of a primer and something like a hydrating spray just to get it moving, but that's my personal preference. We're all gonna kind of differ there because I know for a long time I didn't wear primers and people are like, what are you doing? So overall, I've had a really good experience with this foundation so far. It is, however, quite new to me, but I did want to, of course, tell you guys my thoughts. As for the shade, I do think it looks a little bit yellow, so I haven't had a chance to try all the different shades that are available, but so far I think this one looks good, but it definitely is a little bit more yellow than what I would probably prefer. But I do think it holds on really nicely onto the skin, great for oily skin. If you do have texture or acne, that is something to consider, like with any more matte foundation foundation, it can tend to look a little bit too dry. So try not to put on too much, just build it up where you need it. And of course, make use of things like primers and sprays where you may want to. Seems to have a really, really great shade range, and the packaging, I don't think I mentioned it, but I do really like it. It's in a glass bottle with a pump, which is always appreciated, especially when you walk into the drugstore. You'd like to be able to see the shade in the bottle so it's not frosted or anything like that. And it is going to be pretty widely available because NYX is pretty widely available. Widely, not wildly. I guess you could go either way. But yeah, pretty happy with this foundation so far. Be sure to let me know if you plan on picking it up. Definitely enjoying it. Although I am kind of a less matte foundation wearer now, I do think that this is nice, feels really comfortable, and definitely something I recommend you try. So if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!